You will understand why this verse is such a vessel of nectar. We all say that we want to remain in this world. No one ever says that they want to leave. I should remain, right? Whatever we say, it is always I must remain. But that is a meaningless desire. Suppose I light a stove and pray to God, and God actually appears and asks me, what do you want? If I then ask him, please make sure the fire in the stove I lit stays hot, what would he say? You fool, you do not need a boon for that. Fire is always hot. Why ask for a boon for that? Are you crazy? You do not need to ask me. Even if you do not ask, not just in your house, the fire in any stove in any house will be hot. For that, you do not need to ask specifically to remain, because you will remain. What you should ask is to know who you really are. Because you think this is me, you are afraid that this will be lost. By holding on to a lie, you want to remain while letting go of the truth. You say that will not remain. You have abandoned what remains, saying it will not. You are holding on to what will not remain, saying it will. How will you get the result? It will not come. If I hold the real me, that which stays, that which is truth as myself, accept that what is false will fall away. I just have to turn my intellect from that to this. That is all. But it is not as easy as it sounds. Only by studying the scriptures deeply and working hard, and through constant practice, can that determination be achieved. Otherwise, this is a trait that has come from many, many past lives. Is it one life or two? It is millions of lives. In Gajendra Moksham, Patana Garu says, nights, days and twilights passed as the battle went on for 1,000 years. There is no night, no day, no twilight. For so many millions of lives I have thought I am this and stayed deluded by this body, leaving one body and catching another. This habit of believing this lie to be the truth has just stayed with me. In staying that way, what I always do is think this is me and this must remain. This keeps changing. I told you just yesterday that death exists within change itself. The moment a flower turns into a fruit, the flower has already started to die. As soon as the flower turns into pollen, the flower is gone. When the pollen starts becoming a fruit, the pollen dies and becomes a fruit. When the fruit ripens, the fruit itself is destroyed. When a caterpillar is becoming a butterfly, the physical form of the caterpillar is completely destroyed. Just like that, the moment you are born, your body's death also begins. It just fades away into time. Holding on to that, onto the untruth. If you keep saying, I must stay, I must stay, I must stay, I must stay, how can it? It will not stay. Even after millions of births, you still want to hold on to the body that does not last. You do not recognize the one who truly exists, the soul within. How can you exist permanently? Existence is always there, but the true reality is not being realized. When this realization happens, that is what they call the dawn of knowledge. Whatever it is that I am realizing within this, that is the real me. It is witnessing all of this as a witness. Oh, in the past, these veins did not bulge like this on the surface. Now they are bulging out. If I move my hand like this, there were no wrinkles before, but now it is wrinkling. Earlier, these eyes did not need glasses, but now these eyes have glasses on them. In the past, even if I ate lunch, gave lectures, and went home at 11 p.m. to eat a snack, my body could handle it. Now it cannot handle that. It is getting exhausted. If I do not give it some milk or something after 5 or 6 hours, its ability to withstand fatigue will just fade away completely. The one inside is realizing these things as a witness. Whatever is realizing, it also realizes one more thing. Do you know what it realizes? It even realizes its own fainting and unconsciousness. It even knows that this poor thing is falling down because it cannot take it anymore. This body feels hungry. If you put food into it, its stomach is full. It feels thirsty. If you pour water into it, its thirst is quenched. It feels pain. If you apply some medicine on it, you can see that its pain has subsided. The eye inside remaining the same without any change, that eye watches even when this body is falling. Oh, this is falling, it is leaving. I have worn this for all these days. Just like I take off the dhoti I wore. Look, Now I am leaving this too and coming out of it. That is why the Garuda Purana says that for 11 days, the soul is shown the place where it left the body. They tell it to stay. It is a kind of speed. The messengers of Yama take it at that speed. They show it Lord Yamadharma Raja and bring it back. While bringing it back, there is no agony. There is no agony in that taking and bringing. They bring it, leave it and go away. They tell it to stay here for 11 days. It stays right there for 11 days. It stays and keeps watching. Do you know how strangely it watches? It is allowed only at the place where the body was left. That is why in the past, if someone died in one place, they would not take the body to another place. They would cremate it right there because they wanted him to feel that detachment. The body, he thought, was me all this time. Just like how a reflection appears in a mirror. Just like that, while he stands there liberated from it, he watches it burning on the logs. He looks at it and says, oh my God, how much obsession did I have for this? Look at how it is burning away so helplessly. He watches like that for 11 days. He never let anyone open the cupboard while he was alive. It was always his control. Now they open the locks and say, we thought our poor father saved so much, but this is all he saved. After 11 days are over, the brother-in-law comes and says, brother-in-law, how long will you go on like this? How long will you eat without any spice? How long will you sleep on the floor? It is enough. 11 days are over. Now you start your life and everyone else. You may leave. Then he brings new clothes and places them on the stools. From then on, he puts on a tilak, wears new clothes, takes his wife, and goes off to a movie. Then, on the 11th day, after the new clothes are given, seeing their talk and their life of pleasure, he thinks, I ruined my whole life for just this. Instead of worrying so much about this guy, if I had just gone to the Shiva temple and done some circumambulations, I would have been blessed. You give it, right? One day, while obsessed with those kids, he will say, look, this got burnt like this, he spoke like that, and out of disgust, he will say, let's go. Okay, after that, all the agonies will be there. Let's say that is a different matter. Then they take you to the south and make you sit for the third generation. If there is anyone who does it, look at what your son will do with the same habits you had, and they will start giving. He will eat the same food he ate. He will drink what he drank. He will lead the same family life. The cow donation done on the 11th day of the father's death, he will not do on the first anniversary. He will say, why a cow donation for the anniversary too? We did it on the 11th day, within those 11 days, right? So why a cow donation again now? You staked your entire life for him. What happened after crossing and burning the raft? Now you must experience the karma you have created. Where is the merit you earned? What did you use? What burned away your sins? Just to pile up new bundles for him, thinking that if you give him something, he will somehow redeem you. You did all these unnecessary sinful deeds just to pile up those bundles. These experiences are for your soul alone. So now, what should the soul become? It must take a body that is suitable for that. Ishvara gives nothing. What did he ask you to do? Poor guy. If he makes you sin, he has to give you a body. You are the one who sinned after being given intellect. So he does not give the body independently. Therefore, you are the one obtaining the body yourself. The body might leave in time, but the soul does not leave. The soul remains just as it is. And after some time, it takes on another body. Once it takes it, the cycle of worldly life starts all over again. Whatever you use that body, it does not use it properly. In the Kapila Gita of the Bhagavata, they say something wonderful. When the head is down and the legs are up and the whole body is fully formed, it has to fit in the mother's womb. If it does not fit, what happens is he cannot move this hand like this. He cannot move this hand like this. He cannot even turn his head. Moreover, the head is down and the legs are up. And I should not describe it any further than that. Because of that, since the head is down in the mother's womb, he is always breathing in a terrible stench like that. He just lies there, breathing it in. Meanwhile, microorganisms are born from the waste that he has released. They are born and bite into the sensitive skin. It is pitch black. You cannot see a thing even if you poke your eye. The soul is then made to enter into that body. After being placed there, he then cries out and prays to the Supreme Lord from within the womb. Oh Lord, I now understand what it truly means to possess a body. I should have done good deeds with this, offered prayers with this. And if I were to offer a few flowers, I should have done it with this. Since I have this head, I should bow it before elders in the Lord. But all I did while alive was not this way and that, and nothing else. I never performed a circumambulation, never offered 2 flowers, never cracked a coconut, and never lovingly offered food saying, "Oh Lord, you eat this." When I had that body, I now clearly see how much I ruined myself by chasing after those I called my own. There is a way to reach you. And what is that way? If I want to go to Annavaram, just sitting here saying, I want to go, will not get me there. I must walk on the path that leads to Annavaram. So give me a way out and I will serve you again. Now, to get rid of all my sins and virtues, I really need this opportunity. So just give it to me once and push me out of here. I cannot stay in here anymore, Father. 9 months of suffering is more than enough. End my stay in this womb and protect me now with your divine grace. Oh Shankara, he prays like that. At that time, the memory of the past life remains. By the name of Shata, what Ishvara does is, as the labor wind, the air in the mother's womb turns into the labor wind. And then, with great difficulty, he comes out through a very narrow opening. When he comes out and finally escapes from that pitch darkness, doctors with such huge bodies are moving around right in front of him. That is why Ishvara does not let us remember life before the age of 3. If we actually did, everyone would go crazy. There is no way you would remember that. And that is why with those huge figures of doctors and those massive lights coming out of pitch darkness, a tiny egg like that, when the eyes open like this, it is as if you are going blind. You cannot breathe. They call it black stool. Maybe you think that I am lying to you. I am explaining something to you from a book that was written by a great gynecologist regarding black stool while in the mother's womb. If some food she ate goes in through the umbilical cord, the waste inside is soft like a stone. It stays there in lumps. When it sees so much light, it gets scared. And that stool tries to come out. But because of that fear, what happens is the opening closes up. It gets stuck and does not go out. The lungs that were moving like this, they just stop. The heart that was beating, it just stops. If it stops, the great secret of the Almighty in creation, no scientist in the world has ever been able to create it artificially. Whether it is a dog, a cat, a pig, or human beings. Looking at her child, a mother, feeling happy that it is her child as soon as she starts breastfeeding. At the very first, a yellow sticky substance is released from the mother's breast. As soon as it touches the tongue, that is it. The lungs start working again, the kidneys, the heart, everything works, and that black stool trapped inside gets expelled. It goes out and he survives. He lives and breathes. The Lord has given this body to perform good deeds, saying, hey, attain salvation and merge into me. How long will you wander like this? That is why in any temple, the entrance to the inner sanctum is, except for the exit, there is no other door to enter the sanctum and then leave from the back. Do you know why that is? Your entire journey is just to reach that sanctum. That is all. There is nothing beyond the sanctum in human life. That is why they do not put a door behind the sanctum for you to leave through. The temple's agama is like that, because that is the ultimate goal of human birth. After crossing many births, there are 84 lakh forms of life in this world. These 84 lakh forms are again classified into 4 categories. They come as Jarayujas, Andajas, Svedajas and Udbijas. Jarayujas are born from the womb. Andajas come by breaking out of an egg. Udbijas come by breaking through the earth, like trees. And Svedajas are born from sweat, like lice and such. Among these, human birth is the most supreme birth. Do you know why? At least we can die on our own. No one says anything until our breath ends. But the situation for others is not like that. Sometimes I find it very funny and it gives me goosebumps. I go for a walk on a walking track early in the morning. When I go for a walk, there is overgrown vegetation there. the kind that grows unnecessarily. They just pour some petrol on it and set it on fire, even though they are green plants. When those massive petrol fires rise up and spread forward, even a green tree gets scorched, dries up, and burns to ashes. Do you think that a tree has no life in it? It is not like it has no life at all. Recently, an agricultural scientist brought a book and gave it to me. I was completely stunned reading the things in that book. When the owner of a tree in front of a house waters it, it actually misses the owner and waits, wondering why they have not come yet, even though it is 9 or 10 at night. Because it has life, right? It is growing day by day. It feels fear and wants to run away as the fire approaches, fearing it will burn, but its two legs are fixed in the ground as if they were buried and covered with concrete. Now, other than standing there and burning, it has no way to even move aside. Compared to that, think about the greatness of the life form God has given us. We got into this because we did something good. We came into this to continue doing good deeds and find salvation to reach a better state. But why should we keep choosing such lives for ourselves over and over again? Why blame God for this? So, change your mindset, Arjuna. What is true, what is unchanging, what is eternal, it is right here. If you think that is the truth, there is no problem. But if you think what is false is true, that is when the trouble starts. If I keep obsessing over this, saying this is real, this will last, will it actually stay? Not for a single day. It is a lie, it is false, it is not meant to stay, it will fade away. No matter how many times you say it will stay, it is going to leave anyway. You might not even know if it exists. And even if you say it does not, the I inside has nowhere to go, that soul remains just as it is. If you stand as that, which is eternal, you will find your salvation. So, since the I that is here is the same I that is in everything, the way this I feels joy is exactly how that I feels joy. Therefore, whatever makes the I in this body suffer, the I in that body suffers from the exact same thing. Suppose I am walking along and someone suddenly trips me up with a stick. And suppose I stumble and fall down. And then that person just stands there and starts laughing loudly. Like, ha 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 ha. If someone trips him up while he is walking tomorrow, how will it feel for him when he falls down? The pain this one felt, that one will feel the same pain. So whatever pain the I in this body feels, the I in everything else feels that same pain too. Forms aside, it feels joy and sorrow. So there is no difference between this I and that I. That I and this I are one and the same. They are eternal. But they appear to be in pieces, though they are not pieces. Just as the sky appears to be in pieces. The sky in a monastery or the sky in a pot, it appears like the sky inside a jar in one place or the sky inside a room in another. But does that mean the sky has been broken into pieces? No. The sky never changes. And just like that unchanging sky, I remain whole and unbroken. The I that is in everything is the one Ishvara consciousness. Oh, look at how much joy this has and how much joy that has. So why should I hurt it? I will not. That I being hurt is this I being hurt too. That is why Nannaya said something wonderful in the Mahabharata. Before you do anything, there is just one acid test. Should I do this work or not? There is a framework called the framework of Dharma. Put it in there. If it fits, do it. If not, leave it. If others did this to me, would I be hurt? I would be hurt. So do not do it. If others did this to me, would I be happy? I would be happy. So go ahead and do it. That is it. If you make a habit of this one test, you will learn to harmonize the I in you with the I that is in everything. Otherwise, what happens is the I in you becomes a you in him. Between this I and you, all this ignorance, lack of knowledge and the abyss will just vanish. The cycle of births will end. When the I in everything merges with the I in you, that is Tat Tvam Asi, you are that. That one Ishvara is you. And as long as you do not know that, it is just ignorance. So, if you realize this, you are the one inhabiting this body because of your own karmas, not Ishvara. The soul is eternal. Understand this. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu. Dhruvan janma mrtasyascha. Whoever is born will always pass away. If a body is born, it means it is destined to go. Remember that. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu dhruvan janma mrutasya cha. This is a state that no one can change for any reason whatsoever. Changing this is not something anyone is capable of, Arjuna. So, you keep this one thing well in your mind. You are the one who is attaining this body. No one else is giving this body to you. You see. So now, what is it that everyone needs to keep in mind at this point? One must think about the actions they have to perform. Doing karma does not just mean doing something or the other. One thing you must remember very well is, does eating food mean eating wherever you feel like eating? This whole house is mine, sir. Even the toilet in our house was built by me. I built the bathroom in our house. I built the attic. I even built the kitchen in our house myself. The dining room and the bedroom in our house were also built by me, you know. Even the place I set up in our house for defecation was built by me. Just because it is the house I built myself, would you take your food and sit in the toilet to eat? You would not, right? You eat your food where you are supposed to eat it. And just because you eat there, do you sleep there as well? You sleep in one place. Just because you sleep there, do you relieve yourself in that same spot? No, you go somewhere else to do it. Even though it is all part of you. Why is that? Why? Even if it is the house you built yourself, you still do things where they are meant to be done. When you are doing that, so when it comes to performing your actions, why can you not accept the principle that they must be done the right way and not just however you please? Why can you not accept that? That is simply born out of ignorance. Suppose someone says, I will eat in the toilet. It is my house, my choice, I built this toilet and I will sit in the toilet and eat. That is what he says. What is the big deal? If I eat, it goes inside me and it comes out of me right here. What is the difference? If he says that, would you or I say no? Would we? But the thing is, you could never actually sit down and have a meal with him, could you? Could you ever eat with a person like that? Not in a million years you could not. In fact, could you even go and sit and talk with him while he is eating there? No, you could not. It is just not possible. Therefore, you must remember one thing about performing actions, and that is yoga is skill in action. That is the key. The Gita flowed so beautifully, so wonderfully. He led us toward a solution in that way. The Gita went all the way to the practice of controlling the mind. That is how it went. You cannot just do whatever you want, Arjuna. Just because you were told to do something, you come to the battlefield and say, oh no, how can I kill all these people? My teacher is here, my father is here, my grandfather is here. How can I kill them? I will not kill them. If you think that walking away like that will bring you merit, you are wrong. A true warrior must stand on the battlefield to protect righteousness, fight, and if necessary, sacrifice their very life right there. That is it. If you are unable to do that, then you will be someone who fails to do their duty. The Vedas have prescribed what everyone should do. Doing what the Vedas say is the right way to live. If you do it, you will flourish. If you do not, you will not. And if you do not flourish, there will be trouble in the world. Therefore, in this inevitable matter, this cycle of birth and death that you see, it is unavoidable. No one can escape it. So why are you crying about it? You should not grieve for this. Why would anyone cry? Just remember one thing clearly. For someone who has truly understood the Bhagavad Gita, there is nothing left to cry about. He has no reason to cry. If he has truly digested the Bhagavad Gita, why would he ever need to cry? Pathana was writing the Bhagavatam and said, it is so strange to see people watching their children die, yet they act as if they themselves will never die, and they cry for the dead. He asked, what kind of wonder is this? It is certain that every living being returns to where it came from. Whatever is born must go, and whatever is not born cannot die. Unborn soul never dies. The body is born and it will die. For death is certain for the born, and birth is certain for the dead. Whatever has died will be born again. The body has died, so it will emerge again as another body. It emerges a small body and grows again. The fact that it is growing and changing is a sign that it is moving toward death once more. Thus, birth is certain for the dead. Therefore, in this inevitable situation, this is something no one can avoid, and no one has the power to change it. So why cry anymore? You should not grieve. I cannot change this, and there is no other way in this world but to take the necessary precautions. It is like a mighty flowing river. The Ganga in Haridwar is not like the Ganga in Kashi. To bathe in the Ganga at Haridwar, you must hold on to iron chains to go down. If you jump into the Ganga at Kashi without holding on, thinking it is just water, it will sweep you away. You will not survive. What if you try jumping off a mountain like you're just jumping off a chair at home? It will not work. Things are the way they are. When you cannot change something, you have to be careful and listen. Crying about how things are will not change them. Will they change just because you cry? These things do not change by crying. So why are you crying? You cry because you will die. You cry because you were born. Crying about death will not stop it, and crying about birth will not stop that either, O embodied soul. If you do not realize this, the cycle of the body will not stop. The body will remain. So what are you crying for? The fire in your home will always be hot. You might say, oh, my son is so innocent, he does not know anything, he's just a child. It makes sense if it burns me. I know fire is hot, but what does a 2-year-old child know about it? My wife left a pot of milk there and stepped away. The poor 2-year-old, thinking he would drink the milk, rushed over, grabbed the pot and tried to drink it by putting it in his lap. Feeling that heat, he said this, and all the milk in his lap spilled out, burning the baby's tender skin on his thighs and all over. Does this wretched fire burn an innocent child who does not know any better? If you cry like that and go to the fire and try to hit the fire with a stick, that stick will also burn up. It will not stop the fire. So instead of crying when you should not, you must ensure your child does not go near the fire in the first place. This cycle of birth and death is a framework set by God. He did not set it to be a dictator or a ruler just to cause pain. He said it thinking that if given chances again and again, maybe he will improve. Just like how for someone who fails in March, they have immediate supplementary exams so they can pass and not waste an academic year, so they can study immediately. He gave another body after leaving this one, saying clear your sins and virtues with this new one. But no matter how many births you take, if you do not realize this and just keep taking bodies, staying in the body, and if that is your only happiness, how can that ever work, Arjuna? Therefore, in this unavoidable matter, it is an inescapable cycle, the cycle of birth and death. In this matter, there is only one thing you must do. You should not grieve. You must not cry. Do not cry that I will die. Since death only happens to the body, the real sorrow should be about how to avoid entering a body that dies. That is what you need to think about. To avoid death. You are not someone who dies at all. You are the soul. You are the indweller within. Just realize the truth that you are the indweller. The very moment you realize that truth, fear vanishes and confusion disappears. I will finish by telling you one thing. It is called the rope snake illusion. It is used very often in Advaita. A man is walking in the dark. Something is moving in front of him, lying across. So he stopped. Oh my God, what a huge snake. A black cobra is roaming here. He said, look, it is lying right here. Maybe not. Maybe it is just a rope, he thought. It felt like it raised its head. Oh my God, it is a snake. He took 2 steps back and watched to see where it moved, but it just stayed there, turning like this. There was a hissing sound. He stood there, absolutely terrified by the snake. Suddenly the master came to the wall and said, hey, Koteswara, why are you standing like that? Aren't you going to the temple? I said, master, a snake, master. A snake? Where is a snake here, Koteswara? There are no snakes here, he said. No, master, a black cobra is lying there. You should also go inside. Now, you must remember this very well. I need to know if it is a snake or a rope. I am scared, I am emotional, and I am sweating all over. I can hear the hissing, I can see the hood. A black snake is lying right there. In this state, if the master comes and puts an apple in my hand and says, Koteswara, hold this apple, will my fear go away? If he says, Koteswara, put these 10,000 in your pocket, and I put those 10,000 in my pocket, will it be resolved? Or if my son comes and says, Father, hold this Ramayana book that you read so much, will my fear go away? If the master brings a flashlight and shines it like this, what happens? It is gone, just like that. Hey, this is a rope, I said. As soon as I said it is a rope, the hood was gone. As soon as I said it is a rope, there was no hiss, no snake. I went close, picked it up, and said, look, the master's rope looks exactly like a snake, doesn't it? I was so scared seeing this, and he just threw it aside and walked away. Once the truth is known, the fear is gone. Once you know the truth, your sweat disappears. Once you know the truth, all your anxieties are gone. What's truth? Soul's truth. The fact that the soul is the truth must come into your awareness and experience. It is no use if I just talk big like I am doing now. It must be experienced. If I can realize that what is inside is eternal and that it is present everywhere, and if I see with the lamp of knowledge that everything appearing as names and forms is just an illusion, and in reality it is just as it is, on that day, if the truth comes into awareness, then I will not enter a body again. Remaining as myself means merging into the soul, dissolving into the Supreme Lord, and staying that way. So Arjuna, this is the truth. Realize this. Instead, why are you so worried about the cycle of birth and death, constantly obsessing over the body? These bodies are just things that you have acquired for yourself. May you all realize the profound truth that he is teaching through these two verses. And starting tomorrow, Brahmasri Shobhanaidu is coming here for 2 days to perform. That great and divine lady. She is a great scholar, a lady who has received the complete grace of Lord Nataraja himself. Her dance, well, you see, it was not just any ordinary kind of dance. She was someone who had received the complete and divine blessings of Lord Nataraja himself. And the reason why I am saying this is because I have seen some of the roles she played and the dances she performed. Actually, to tell you the truth, I have seen quite a few of them. Whenever Shobhanaidu Garu's dance was happening at the Anamkala Kandram in Rajamandri, back in the days when I was living in Peddapuram, I would specifically take a bus just to go see it. And then I would drive back home late at night in my car. I love her dance so much. Do you know why? It is because it is so classical. Like when she performs Swami Ninunda Vaikunthamandu, that Priya Kartikeyan, she used to play the role of Lord Venkateswara and Srinivasa Kalyanam. Her dancing, these days, for those who dance, their lips do not even move at all. They do not move their lips to the song being sung. And there is no expression. To have grace, there must be expression. Do you know who can actually give such expressions? Only someone who truly understands the meaning of the song being sung beside them, who knows who they are singing about and all the context behind it, and who deeply understands the emotion being conveyed. Only they can dance like that. The fact that she can still dance like that at her age shows she is a divine soul, a great mother. Such a divine soul is coming here to dance tomorrow. Not just tomorrow, but the day after too. Truly, for her to dance, it should be at Shanmukhananda Hall in Mumbai, or maybe venues like Suryakala Mandir in Kakinada. That is her level. Except for this, as far as I know, I do not think she would ever dance in a village like this, next to fields, under so many lights, in such open-air premises as these. The fact that such a great lady agreed to come to a village like Kovada to perform and is staying for 2 days, all that credit goes to Subba Rao Garu. It is his greatness. He is a great soul, living his life with such devotion and humility. I often tell my people that I am jealous of Subba Rao. I say I do not have that humility. He's always like this, so humble. He never holds his head high with ego. I think she is coming here moved by his humility. There is a dance program tomorrow. Will it be at 7 o'clock? Subba Rao? It starts at 7 o'clock tomorrow. But a bit earlier than that, we will have to vacate the place early. When she dances, she does not just perform on a stage like this. They even set up special sets for it, You really must see it. I was stunned when I saw it once. She performed the Brahmi state of Sai Baba Garu. It was truly something else. I saw it right here on this stage. Is that dance there now? That Brahmi state is something that cannot be described in words. It is just amazing. Those in that Brahmi state play marbles with kids. They become a child among children. It is impossible to describe. Whether in yoga, in pleasure, in company or alone, one whose mind delights in Brahman, he is the one. Tam nandati nandati nandatyeva. She performs everything from Sai Baba playing marbles with children. Seeing her as that divine Brahmi form, you wonder where on earth does she get this power from? Such a devotee of Nataraja is coming here to perform dance for 2 days. For that reason, it would not be right if I lose myself and take an extra 15 or 20 minutes. I am stopping after a 1-hour lecture, so I do not hinder the next program. not because I cannot speak for 2 hours. So, tomorrow I will start the lecture at exactly 5:45. I will start at 5:45 and finish somewhere between 6:30 and 6:45. Now do not think, why are you even speaking? Would it be a problem if you skipped a day? I actually said I would skip. I said I will not speak tomorrow or the day after. Let us watch a dance. Subba Rao Garu said, no, that is not right. We put it in the paper. And when a great event happens, teaching during service to God is very, very important. Actually, Sai Baba's entire life was a process of giving. In such a place, the discourse should not stop. So I will put another table in front for you tomorrow. Sit on that and speak. He said for days. So tomorrow and the day after, sit in the front. All of you will have to bear with me for a bit. So if I say I will speak on something from the Gita for 30 or 45 minutes, I will speak as a continuation of this. After that, there will be her dance program for 2 days. After 2 days, the programs will continue as usual. So tomorrow, if you come like you did today, you will not get those chairs. Second, if you stand somewhere and watch that dance, there are many obstacles. So you cannot watch it beautifully. So for Shobha Naidu Garu to perform such a great program in Kovvada, I never thought she would come if Subba Rao Garu had not asked. This is the luck of Kovvada residents. If the people of Kovvada and surrounding areas do not utilize this, there is no greater innocence or misfortune than that. So, tomorrow evening, lock up your houses and come with your families to watch. But please sit quietly. Since he brought her here with such affection and respect, her dignity must be upheld by all of us. It is enough if we just stay quiet. So, from 5:15 tomorrow evening, if you do not occupy the seats early, will not get a chance to sit and watch. But please do not occupy the seats that the volunteers have blocked off for others. They need to seat Kattaru. They need to seat some elders and dignitaries, right? Do not just take my word and sit everywhere saying Koteswara Rao told you to. Leave the 2 or 3 rows they ask for. Now, after this, Praveen Kumar will perform. Chiranjeevi Praveen Kumar is coming up well in life. What I liked most about him is something he said recently after singing a song in the Ayappa Swami temple. He said, if I am able to sing this song today, the sole reason behind it all is my teacher, Peddada Suryakumari Garu. A person who lacks that respect for their teacher will not excel in spirituality, music or dance, will they? That boy has grasped what needs to be grasped at such a young age. That is why I have a special affection for that kid. What is that affection? It is the respect he has for his teacher. That respect for the teacher must stay that way. He has a song called Shiva Shankari, sung by Ghantasala Garu. I think from the movie Jagadeka Veeruni Katha. I do not remember the movie exactly. It is no ordinary song. It is very beautiful and he sings it effortlessly. He sang really well the other day at the Ayappa Swami temple. So, I will also listen to a few hymns while he sings for a while. We should bring such children onto the path of progress. Tomorrow, they should be able to say happily as great scholars. I felt a great deal of joy when I was singing at the meeting that was held in Kakinada, Kovvala. So, I hope you all sit quietly like this and drink in the nectar of his music. Mangala Shasana Paraihi Madacharya Purogamaihi Sarvaiya Purvairacharyahi Satkritayastu Mangalam Mangalam Kosalendraya Mahanya Gunatmane Chakravarthi Tanujaya Sarvabhaumaya Mangalam Umakandhaya Kandhaya Kamidhardha Pradayin Shri Girishaya Devaya Malinadhaya Mangalam Karacharana Kritam Va Karmavakkayujam Va Shravanamainajam Va Manasam Va Aparadham Vihitama Vihitam Va Sarvamitakshamasva Shiva Shiva Karunabdhe Shri Mahadeva Shambho Sarvam Shri Uma Maheshwara Parabrahmarpanamastu Swasti. Salutations to this divine assembly. We were discussing this yesterday. For one born, death is certain, and for one dead, birth is certain. So do not grieve over the inevitable. The Lord repeatedly teaches in the Bhagavad Gita that there is absolutely no reason at all to grieve. In the part discussed until yesterday, not that I have touched upon it completely, when speaking about that particular essence until yesterday, you have heard clearly about the fact that this physical body is temporary. The soul exists for all time, eternally. It is not that the soul exists at one time and not at another. This body falls, but the soul remains forever. How does it remain? There is a very famous verse that explains this. Weapons cannot cut the soul, nor can fire burn it. Water cannot wet it, nor can the wind dry it, he says in the verse. The soul is so great that it is beyond everything. It cannot be touched, meaning weapons cannot cut it. It cannot be cleaved by any weapon at all. Nainam dahati pavaka. It is not something that can be burned by fire. Nachainam kledayantyapo. It cannot be moistened by water, nor can it be made to be washed away by water. Na shoshayati maruta. Even by the wind, it cannot be completely dried up. So, you should notice one thing in this verse. We have what are called the 5 elements. The entire universe comes from and is made of these very 5 elements. Earth, water, fire, air, and ether. These 5 fill every single being in this entire universe. Prithvi means earth. Apas means water. Tejo means fire. Vayu means air. And Akasha. Now, in this verse, Lord Krishna explains what things cannot destroy the soul. While explaining this, he left out space and mentioned the other 4. Weapons cannot cut it. And by weapons, he means, say, a sword, or maybe a spear, or even a mace. All these are just variations of the earth element. Since they are made of metal, the soul can never be destroyed by the earth element. Similarly, fire cannot burn it, wind cannot blow it away, and water cannot wet it. So, among earth, water, fire, wind and space, he left out space. And there is only one reason why he left out space. Among the 5 elements, one element occupies another, and one element destroys another. Take the earth, for instance. If water flows over the land, the fertile soil gets washed away. Or water covers the earth, so it is not seen. In the great deluge, the earth is gone, covered by water. Take air, for instance. When massive downpours of rain occur, they actually restrict the wind from blowing too freely and keep it contained. Or say you place a pot or something in space, the air inside will not have much room to move around at all. But then take fire. If you have a fire and you pour water on it, the fire just goes out and is extinguished. If you have water and you throw dirt into it, the water gets soaked up and disappears. So, one element limits another. But the only thing that even all 4 elements together cannot limit is space. Space itself never undergoes any change. We say it is cloudy. The clouds might be there, but nothing happened to the sky itself. You cannot cut space with a knife. You cannot break it into pieces. You cannot burn it. You cannot wet it. You just cannot destroy space at all. Space is exactly like the soul is. That is why the phrase, the soul is not pushed by the sky, was not used. Because both are at an equal level. They only brought in 4 of the 5 elements. It is not obvious on the surface. It is not clear that 4 elements were used. Even if it is not known, nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, na chainam kledayanti apo, na shoshayati marutaha. You are that soul. That soul is within you. Well, it is not just in you in reality. The soul exists and it puts on these bodies. Just like we put on clothes. You heard yesterday, vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya, navani garnati naroparani. When it leaves this body, the soul takes on another body. Those are like the clothes it wears. This soul does not perish in time. The body does not remain in time. That is the contradiction between these two. Even if you try to hold on to it in time, the body will not stay. Even if you tell it to go away in time, the soul will not go. The soul is timeless. And that soul is what we all are, but Ignorance came from the fact that we think we are this body. But you say the soul is like that, right? Nainam chindanti shastrani, it cannot be burnt, wetted, or struck, right? How is this possible? I do not have the chance to give a detailed speech about this now, but in reality, to explain this one verse clearly, it would take about 15 days. But if I tell you one thing briefly, you will be able to grasp it well. You should not imagine that a shadow of a stick does exactly what the stick does. You should not say that my reflection does exactly what I do, because the power I have is different, and the power my reflection has is different. It only appears to do what I do, but my reflection does not have the power to act independently. A stone's shadow might look like a stone, but it cannot strike like the stone does. A stick might have a shadow just like the stick itself, but the shadow cannot strike like the stick does. Because of this, when I am not there, my reflection is not there. No stick, no shadow of it, no stone, no shadow of it. This depends on that. These 5 elements depend entirely on the soul. The 5 elements are called Jagat. Jayata Gacchati iti Jagat, meaning that which comes and goes. If I say one thing to make this easily understood in Vedanta, you will grasp it very quickly indeed. The 5 elements shine because of the soul, but the soul does not shine because of the 5 elements. If I coordinate this with the Tanmatras, you will understand it immediately, I am sure. The 5 elements exist within us as subtle elements like sound, touch, taste, form, and smell. Sound is related to space. That is why sound waves travel through the space. The words I speak spread through space as waves and enter through your ears. So the outer space is sound itself. It stands as a symbol. It is called Tanmatra. The skin is the cause for the sensation of touch. For this touch to be felt, there is a certain coolness to it. Within earth, water, fire, air, and space, all these elements, this earth being cool gives that touch the power to provide a certain sense of pleasure, a kind of awareness. That is why touching can cause happiness or it can cause irritation. Rasa or taste is another thing. Taste is explained here by the tongue, externally. This taste is related to water. Among the 5 elements, water is the cause of taste. If there is no water, there is no taste at all. Try cooking an eggplant just as it is, without anything. It will just burn to charcoal. It only cooks if there is water. Look at rice becoming food. There is no taste without water. Try eating rice without water. There is no life in it. So, there is an inseparable bond between water and taste. This taste exists inside as one of the 5 elements. What exists in the form of taste? Water. To see everything outside like sound, touch, taste, and form, there must be light. Only then they are visible. What can you see in the dark? That light resides here in the eye in the form of vision. The sky, that very sky, is actually present here in the form of the soul. This sky, in reality, remains whole and unbroken. Look at this. These 5 things like sound, touch, taste, form, and smell that we are experiencing, all these 5 things being experienced are known only because of the soul within me. Otherwise, without the soul, they would not be known. If you inquire a bit carefully, you will understand. There is water. If there is no soul, is there anything to perceive that it has a taste? Because the soul exists, water is illuminated. Similarly, because the soul exists, the earth is illuminated. The air shines because the soul exists. Water shines because the soul exists. Without the soul, all these are unreal. When the soul is present, these things shine through it. This is called the universe being like a city seen in a mirror. Shankara Bhagavad Pada says this in the Dakshinamurti Stotra. So, in reality, all these shine because of the soul. How can things that shine because of the soul ever harm the soul? They depend on it to shine, and without it, they have no light at all. When they have no light, how could they possibly be capable of harming the soul? They cannot harm it. But there is no such thing as the soul not existing. The soul is always there. Through that soul, all these unreal things appear as if they are real things. That is why weapons cannot cut it. Even if these 5 elements come together, they cannot do anything to the soul. It is always there. In this verse, you have to understand a very great secret. Now, what has a beginning and what is eternal? Beginning means a start. Eternal means having no start. If the soul has always existed, does it have a beginning? If it had a start, why would it be eternal? Why would it be something that is always there? If the soul also started existing at some point, it would have a beginning just like the body does. So, the soul has no beginning, it is eternal, it has always been exactly as it is. But we are just not aware of its existence at all. The body comes into being because of the sins and virtues it has committed. Now you might ask me a question here. You are saying that the body comes because of the sins and virtues one has committed, right? If the body comes from past sins and virtues, then what sins and virtues caused the very first body to exist? How did that first body come about to even perform those sins and virtues in the first place? Who committed those sins and virtues before that? Well, I would say it came because of the power of Maya. Now, if you ask how it came from Maya, I will tell you one thing. I will ask you, what benefit do you get by knowing all of this? What is the use of it? That is good. I mean, depending on the time available, the speaker should know what to set aside and what to share, and the listener should know what to take in. Now, I have fallen into a net. Now, I have to get out of that net. I wonder, at what time did I fall into the net? When did I fall? How did I fall? Is thinking about all this important? Or is thinking about how I can get out of the net more important? I will give you a second example. I have never seen her, but my uncle's daughter is living in Hyderabad. My father said, hey, your uncle's daughter is there. When you are going, take these mangoes, take this honey, and for your brother-in-law, take a dhoti and a shawl. For your sister, a sare, a blouse piece, turmeric and vermilion. Take this bag, and since you are going to Hyderabad, give it to your sister. Your sister lives in such and such a place. Go to that street and ask, he said. What I did was I went to that street, and while I was searching, people from one house came out and said, you are Chaganti Koteswara Rao, right? We see you on TV all the time, they said. Yes, it is me, I said. Why are you wandering around like this, they asked. It is nothing. There should be a lady here, my sister, by the name of Sundari. My father asked me to give these to her, ma'am. So I came. I was looking for where she lives. They said she's somewhere in this lane. Oh my God, for Sundar? Hey, Koti, did you forget? I am Sundar, she said. Sister, is it you? I said, and went into their house. I gave everything to my sister and bowed to her. My sister said, you have come after all these years. You have not visited since you grew up. Stay for 2 days. I stayed for 2 days. After 2 days, one night I was massaging my sister's feet. She made me sit close. We were chatting. I was listening. I did everything. She was serving me great food. I was eating. It was all done. I said, sister, I will leave now. She said, okay, stay 1 more day and then go. For some reason, I went to the Ritu Bazaar with my sister. When we went there, a lady saw me in the Ritu Bazaar and, your name is Koteswara Rao, right? I thought, what is this? People usually say Koteswara Rao Garu, but no one says just Koteswara Rao, right? Why is she asking? Is not your name Koteswara Rao? Yes, ma'am. Who are you? I asked. Oh, you impossible man. You did not recognize me? It is me, Sundara. It is me, your sister Sundara. Your father wrote a letter saying Kotigadu is coming. Kotigadu is coming. I have been waiting, wondering why you have not arrived yet. Is it you? When did you get here? Where have you been wandering without even coming home? She said. Turned around and said, so she is Sundarakka. She said, I've had a wish for a long time, Koteswara Rao, to listen to your speeches and keep you at our house for 2 days to serve you a nice meal. Since I got the chance, I just said, I am your sister Sundara. And you stayed at our house for 2 days. I played along with everything you said, one thing after another. I happily spent 2 days with you. So just think of me as your sister, she said to me. Now you tell me one thing. Were all those sweet moments I spent thinking she was my sister real? Or were they just a lie? They were all lies. Because she was not really my sister. She felt like a sister. But she was not. Once I realized she was not my sister, I had no sari to give her, no dhoti or shawl to give my brother-in-law. Anyway, she was not my sister. Since we experience all joys and sorrows through the mind, thinking the mind is real is like, well, it is like leaving the true soul and clinging to a fake sister, cherishing those sweet moments with her. You should be happy to come out of this and find your real sister, rather than grieving the loss of comforts from that fake one. So, just like someone thinking about how to escape a net as quickly as possible, since the soul is the only truth, we only need to think about how to bring it into our awareness. That is why, you see, what has a beginning is the body itself. Therefore, instead of racking your brain trying to figure out when this body began, or when the very first birth took place, or for what purpose the soul even exists, why do they even exist? Instead of trying to find out when this consciousness, intellect, ego and mind were formed, or when Maya began, just know that what has a beginning has an end. What is eternal has no end. When you realize that you are that which has no end, you will stand as the eternal Ishvara himself. If you cling to what has a beginning, it also has an end. So it will keep falling and coming back, falling and coming back. What is the use of that to you? In Vedanta, that is not the way of practice. What I mean by the word practice in the context of Vedanta is this. Always remember this, not just for now, but in Vedanta there is only one single test. What is beginning and what is beginningless? You must always ask these two questions in Vedanta. You must try to understand only that which is beginningless through your own intellect. You must do it for the path of practice. You have learned so much about what constantly rises and falls. What is the use of that? It is just like the moment spent with a thief, The benefit of trying to know about that which changes, is born again and dies again, is also limited to that alone. Therefore, you should only try to know what is beginningless. What is here now is already there. There is nothing to know about the beginningless. It just is. The whole problem is that what exists is not being recognized as existing. It is like a great golden vessel in our house. But the whole problem is that it has fallen into the mud and stayed there. Because it had been lying in the dirt for so long, it reached a state where you could not even tell it was a golden vessel. Now, you yourself must be convinced that this is a golden vessel. How? What will you do? Take that golden vessel, sit down somewhere and bring a little tamarind, some coconut fiber and a bit of soft sand. Now, sprinkle a little sand, splash some water, and once the sand sticks to the wet surface, scrub it with the coconut fiber. Since coarse sand would wear away the gold, you scrub it with soft sand and then use a bit of tamarind to clean it. Now, can the sand you used, the coconut fiber you used, and the tamarind you used be used again? No, they cannot. You must really grasp what I am saying. I am using this analogy to make it easy to understand and to keep my speech concise. Now, because of the tamarind juice I used to scrub, the brilliance of the golden bowl that was shining so brightly has been covered up once again. The dirt is gone, but the very tamarind you used to remove that dirt has now stuck to it again. Whatever sand you used, it has stuck to it. Whatever coconut fiber you used, the dirt that was in it has stuck to it. Now, can you see the gold vessel? It is not visible at all. Now, these things must go. They cannot be allowed to stay here. You started using these to make the gold vessel shine. Now, since these things cannot stay, you took some pure water and poured it all over the vessel. The tamarind pulp you used, the fibers in the coconut husk you used, and the sand you used, all of it is gone now. Once you poured that pure water, the gold bowl appeared, shining brightly and brilliantly. Now,